Hey, what's up everybody? I'm HoopsandHipHop, and this is going to be one of those very few videos that I actually hope is completely wrong. Obviously right now, Pokemon Legends Arceus is the talk of the town, and with it being such a different kind of Pokemon game, the possibilities for it are practically endless, and one thing in particular that really lends itself to these kinds of possibilities is the time frame in which this game takes place. Obviously, this game is taking place in the far past of the Pokemon world, which is a brand new thing for the main series games, and just on that one aspect alone, we could actually have a ton of amazing things happen in this game that I personally would love to see. I would love to see it so much, but for one reason or another, I just don't think these things are going to happen, and I want to talk about it in this video so you guys can share in my misery and just feel my pain because I'm just really sad about this. Okay, so now getting into the topic at hand, the first point on my list that I want to talk about is actually the one that inspired this whole video, and it would just be so perfect to happen in Legends, but I just don't think it's going to, and that would be an appearance from none other than AZ. Now, the reason why I really want to see AZ appear in this game out of any other character in the Pokemon universe is because the timing for him to appear literally could not be better. If you need a quick refresher on AZ, he is basically a guy who is immortal, and he was once the king of the Kalos region about 3,000 years ago when he set off the ultimate weapon, and after that whole sequence of events happened, he's basically just been wandering the world aimlessly because he literally is immortal now for some reason, infinity energy and all that mumbo jumbo. So yeah, basically he just kind of travels all over the world being immortal, and that is why we saw him also appear in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in addition to Pokemon X and Y, where he first originated. So basically, this guy just has the MO of being from the distant past and also traveling all around the Pokemon world, which is the perfect recipe for him to be able to make a surprise cameo in Legends Arceus and just blow all of our minds. We can also pretty much say for certain that Legends Arceus does not take place more than 3,000 years into the past, just because of the technology and it just seems unlikely in general. So we know that the events of the Kalos War and the Ultimate Weapon that happened with AZ would have already happened by the time that Legends Arceus comes around, so AZ would already be traveling around the world at this point, and so personally, I just don't see any reason why you wouldn't do this. He doesn't even have to have a big role in the story or anything. He could basically just make a surprise appearance as an NPC where you run into him randomly and it's like, oh my gosh, this is AZ, this is so awesome, and pretty much just leave it at that for the sake of fan service. I mean, he could have some kind of connection to the story, but it doesn't have to be big at all. However, the reason why I don't think this is going to happen is simply because it just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that Pokemon and Game Freak would go out of their way to do. AZ doesn't really have anything to do with Sinnoh. We're pretty well removed at this point from anything Gen 6 Mega Evolution, so there really isn't a specific need for him to be there, which is why I don't think he will be, but regardless of any kind of need, it would just be awesome, and now, like I've said, given the circumstances, is the perfect time for him to make a surprise appearance. It would just make the game all the cooler, so I'm crossing my fingers that I'm wrong, guys. I really hope I am. Another thing that I think would fit absolutely perfectly in this game, but I just don't think that Game Freak is going to go in this direction just because it is kind of a crazy thing, is time travel. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a game that is literally set up perfectly to include some kind of time travel. It's a game that's taking place in the distant past of the Pokemon world. It's got a game coming out right alongside it that's basically its counterpart that takes place in the modern day Pokemon world, so there's a bit of a contrast there. It also takes place in a region who has a legendary Pokemon to its name that is literally the god of time. Like, what more could you ask for? Game Freak isn't even a stranger to time travel either, as we also saw it occur in the Celebi event in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so there is literally no reason whatsoever why time travel shouldn't be in this game in some way, shape, or form. But the reason why I don't think it's going to be there, sadly, is because I just don't know if Game Freak is bold enough to go in a crazy sort of direction like time travel and really embrace it to where it can become a prevalent part of the story. And it's not even like time travel would have to take this big, huge, central role in the story. It could very much just take a back seat to whatever else is going on and still have a presence. But even then, I just don't know if that's going to happen. I just kind of get the vibe that Legends Arceus is just going to be set in the past, it's going to do its own thing, and whatever it does, it's going to be great, but it's just not going to go in that time travel direction. I just kind of don't feel like Game Freak is bold enough, like I said, to really use that as a concept and embrace it and make it a significant part of their story. I really hope I'm wrong, but that's just kind of how I feel. Yet another thing that Pokemon Legends Arceus is set up perfectly to include and should absolutely be a necessity in this game for a bunch of different reasons, but I'm not sold that it's going to appear in this game at all, is voice acting. Now, we as a fan base have pretty much been clamoring for voice acting to be a part of Pokemon games since Generation 8, and even before Generation 8 was revealed. And unfortunately, Generation 8 came and we got the main game of the generation in Sword and Shield, and that game released and we didn't get voice acting like many of us wanted. And that game in particular really showed that it needed voice acting, which is why voice acting in Legends Arceus, I believe, is such a necessity. Pokemon Sword and Shield was really the first game in main series Pokemon where you saw the direct need for voice acting. In my opinion, there were a bunch of moments in the game that just felt quiet and awkward because there wasn't the voice of the character to fill that space, and I just don't think that Game Freak can afford to keep having these moments in Pokemon, especially as other advancements occur in the series, like graphically and building a bigger open world and different things like that. The real reason, though, why voice acting is such a necessity for Legends Arceus in particular is because this is literally Zelda Breath of the Wild Pokemon version. Like, it's so plain and obvious to see that this game is heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, and one of the things that Breath of the Wild did for the first time for the Zelda series was add actual voice acting. So there is no reason whatsoever with it also being a need of the franchise and it being a part of the game that you're taking heavy inspiration from to include voice acting in Legends Arceus as well. It literally could not be more of a priority if it tried, but unfortunately the reason why I just have to keep my expectations in check here and say that I don't think it's going to happen is because Game Freak really, with something like this, has not given me enough faith to be able to believe that they will actually include something like this. The fact that a game like Legends Arceus even exists at all, though, is a huge step in the right direction, so I would love to be proven wrong here, and there is still time for me to be proven wrong, because we could see a feature like this make its debut at any point in any of the trailers that are inevitably going to be coming out over the next few months. So, crossing my fingers, I hope I'm wrong. One thing that a lot of people are talking about with this game, especially after the release of the latest trailer, is the possibility that we could get new forms for the final evolutions of the starter Pokemon. This is a concept in general that a lot of people have just wanted to see happen because it just sounds like a really cool idea, and with the reveal of Hisuian form Pokemon, the hopes of people that this could happen for the starter Pokemon as well have really skyrocketed to the point where it seems like a good amount of people think that this could be a legitimate possibility. However, I hate to rain on your parade, but I am firmly in the opposite camp, and I strongly feel like that this isn't going to happen, even though it would be really cool. And the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is simply because it would not make sense with the story at all. The starter Pokemon that we're getting to choose from in this game are the starter Pokemon because they've been brought over from various other regions by Professor Laventon, meaning that these 3 specific Pokemon are literally from other regions, so they literally can't have Hisuian forms because they're not Hisuian Pokemon. So yeah, that is literally an impossibility. I hate to kind of sound mean about this, but it literally, the way they've laid it out, it's literally impossible. The only way that these Pokemon could get some kind of other new form is if they got a Gigantamax form or a Mega form or something like that, but I don't think that's likely either, especially for the Mega form thing, because we know that this game takes place in a time before Pokemon and people came together. It's a time where, literally, according to the trailer, the lives of people and Pokemon are separate, and so that throws Mega Evolution right out the window. It probably throws Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing out the window as well, so as much as I would love to see a new form of Typhlosion, are you kidding me? I am a person who would love to see this happen, very specifically, but I just don't think it's going to. And last but not least is another thing that this game is just primed to be able to explore. The opportunity is golden for us to finally get some answers on one of the biggest Pokemon mysteries of all time, which is exactly why it should happen, but I don't think it's going to, and that has to do with revisiting the Sinjoh ruins. This is another one that many people have been clamoring for ever since this game was first revealed, including myself, because the opportunity to make it a reality is literally going to be no better than it is in Legends Arceus. Obviously, the Sinjoh ruins have a lot to do with Sinnoh. We're revisiting Sinnoh. They were built a long time ago. This is taking place a long time ago. I really don't need to spell it out for you as to why this is perfect, and it's even more perfect because of some information that we learned in the latest Legends Arceus trailer. We obviously know that we're going to be building Sinnoh's first Pokedex, which obviously includes Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, and technically Arceus, who are all a central figure of the Sinjoh ruins, but on top of that, we also learned that we're going to be building each of these Pokemon's dex entries and doing research tasks in order to do so, which is likely going to involve the legendaries as well, seeing as how they have Pokedex entries in the modern Sinnoh region. So, what better way to build these Pokemon's Pokedex entries than doing research tasks at a place that they have a distinct connection to, like the Sinjoh ruins? I shouldn't have to explain this anymore before it should become a reality, but I still don't think it's going to. Why, Game Freak? Why do you do this to us? Yeah, sadly, this is just another one of those things that I'm just like, I'll believe it when I see it, because with the Sinjoh ruins being such an event-exclusive location, I could very easily see it be the type of place that Game Freak wouldn't bring back, just because it was pretty much made exclusively for that event, but this would elevate this game to an exponential degree. So please, Arceus, let me be wrong. Game Freak, actually continue in this bold new direction that you're going with Legends Arceus and make me a believer. I want to believe. I want to explore the Sinjoh ruins again. I want the answers to these questions that we've had for over a decade since we knew about this location. Please give it to us. And there you have it, everybody. Those are some things that should definitely happen in Legends Arceus, but I just don't think are going to. I really hope I'm wrong, as I've said. What of these things, though, do you want to see happen the most? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know any other ideas that you think would be perfect for this game in the comments as well. As always, I love you guys. I'll be back with another video very soon as well. Thanks for watching this one. I love you very much, and until the next one, as always, I'll smell you guys later.